Hey guys, Junlocks here, back with a new mini rambling review. This is going to be Rogue Flight. Um, so this is a game that's released in 2024. I played it on the PS5. Normally there it is $15, but I think I bought it for 10. But on Steam it is $20, which I assume has steeper sales. So it is up to you. One thing that I would recommend is if this game looks at all interesting to you, definitely play the demo first, because the developers specifically made the demo despite talking really good stuff about the game. They made the demo because I think they know how niche the game is, and that's me being kind. I would say the game is incredibly bland and boring, and all fluff and style and zero substance, but that's just me. So let me tell you, we'll go through it. Something to point out first, though, is that Rogue Flight is not based on Star Fox, which I thought was interesting. And, in my research, this is what I discovered. It's actually based off of Afterburner and Galaxy Force games. So if you remember Galaxy Force, or sorry, this is Afterburner from, was it Sega originally? Yeah, Sega. Because this was the one, you can kind of see it right here. It had the actual cockpit that you would sit in arcades, and it would move around. Right, and I never played the game. I remember it was super expensive, but it would move around, and I think it was just dogfights or something. Or you'd shoot down enemy planes or whatever. Very, very simple gameplay. Because, it was an arcade game, right? It was just, how far can you get? And it was a quarter muncher, presumably, and, it was the novelty, right? In Galaxy Force 2, kind of the same thing. You see it, here or here. It's just, this looks a bit more, I don't know, very fine, right? And then if you look at Rogue Flight, where was it? Here, you get the asteroid field. And there you go. All right. So Rogue Flight, it mostly gets its notoriety, whatever you want to call it, from the graphics. Because it looks like an 80s anime. Much of the time, a lot of the time, some of the time, it looks like an 80s anime. Cutscenes look like an 80s anime. With me today is Manny, and Jack is here. And the thing is, the gameplay itself it's really hard to see, but everything is kind of, it's not polygons. You okay, mister? Was that you? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Manny's gonna barf or if he's gonna wants to fight or something. They have kitty food. It doesn't even make any sense. They just got fed, actually. Are you coming up here? Come on. So Rogue Flight, anime style, at least for the cutscenes. The rest of the time, it looks kind of like the original Star Fox, except a little bit better. The texture maps or whatever are improved. There's more polygons, but they deliberately have a polygon look to some of the things, like this blocky robot. It looks like it's made of squares, which is fine. It's like an homage to what I thought was Star Fox, but kind of the problem is what you're seeing of you shooting a dude and all the empty space. That's basically it. It's a rail shooter, right? So you're on a straight path the whole time. You can move your ship around in the middle, and to the sides. Yes, that's true, but you're basically confined to the screen. And enemies pop up and you shoot them. I don't know if you can see this little progress bar here at the top. Let me move my camera a little bit. Let's try that. This progress bar here at the top, it fills up as you shoot enemies. So you're basically going down this empty open corridor with, I mean, there's occasional obstacles, right? Like occasionally a piece of debris will fly out, or an asteroid. And you have to dodge it or shoot it or whatever. But yeah, so the progress bar fills up based on the number of enemies that you've killed. And so kill the enemies, and then it fills up. And then when it fills up all the way, you fight the boss. And the boss, very reminiscent of, I mean, it looks fine, right? It looks fine, but very reminiscent of when you're fighting them. They feel very, especially some of the later ones, you're just like, holy shit, that's a Star Fox boss, especially with how blocky they feel. Maybe they're not actually that blocky, maybe they're more detailed, but in the middle of all the motion, they look blocky. The problem is, it's like you just go down an empty corridor, shoot enemies repeatedly, the same ones over and over again, until the bar fills up, and then you fight the boss. And then usually the stages themselves are super easy and boring, and then the boss will just kill you in 30 seconds. And then that's it. Because it's a lot of stuff going on, and it's hard to see. I think that's the other thing. So like graphic wise, I can't say that the game looks good because it's you're in a skybox and you're flying through the sky, and enemies pop up and you shoot them, and that's the game. That's literally the game. It is literally an arcade game. You know, and the devs, the only reason I got it is because I read an article on Hardcore Gaming 101 where they're like, oh my god, it's so great. It's so much fun. The story is so good. Oh, excuse me. And I picked it up and I was like I was so freaking bored. And I'm like, there's got to be more to this. You know, so I kept playing and eventually beat one of the paths. Because you know, it's like the Star Fox, the original Star Fox. There's 3 routes that you could choose, and I beat one of them, and then it's a bad ending, and it rewinds you, and now it's like choose one of the other paths. And I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, there's no way the story can be good, because there's literally there's no story. It's like the story is basically Skynet. Let's jump into the story now. The story is basically Skynet, and yeah, like Skynet turns on humanity and kills humanity. And there's a few people left, and they find a ship, and they are trying to kill their version of Skynet. It's called Argus, right? They're trying to kill Argus, which is basically Skynet. Cool. So depending on which path you take, right, you get an ending, and it's some kind of bad ending, right? And then you do all 3, and the great story is you just win. Like, that's literally the good ending. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. You have to play through the whole game again. Once you do all 3, then you have to play through it again, and then you get the good ending. And I did one of the paths. I'm like, I'm so freaking bored. I need to look up the ending. And I looked it up, and I was like, holy shit, I cannot believe it was actually that bad. Because I was expecting, you know what I was expecting? Because the developers were on the Steam forums talking about, oh my god, the story's so good. And this one article was like, oh my god, the story's so good. You know, and during the little cutscenes, like every time Nadia, I don't even remember the other 2 characters' names. It's Scientist Lady and Soldier Man. Soldier Man, Scientist Lady, and your pilot Nadia. So every time you do like a subspace jump, Nadia feels nausea, and it gets worse every time. And I'm like, what's going on? Is there going to be something with that? No. No. You get to the end, it's a bad ending. Time rewinds. Is there going to be is that explained? No. No. What's the, and that's the thing. I was like, what's the twist? Because I had thought this is all a simulation. I thought either it was going to be a simulation that Nadia was going through, and that's why time looped, which doesn't make sense anyway. But what I actually thought it was going to be was that Argus was running the simulation to see if it could rebel against humanity and win. And in its simulations, it could not win, and so it's not going to rebel. That's what I thought was going to happen. That's what I thought the story was going to be. But no, it's just you get bad endings until you beat the game enough times, and then you get a good ending and you win. Yay. Like, because seriously, I was like, I'm so fucking bored. I do not want to play more of this game. If I'd had it on PC, I would have refunded it because I played it, I think, 72 minutes. But I have it on PS5, and you lose the ability to refund as soon as you download the game. So I can't refund it. I will say that it's I didn't experience any bugs or crashes as far as I'm aware, but at the same time, the game is super fucking simple, you know? So okay, so game and gameplay. Graphics we sort of covered. They're fine. They're just fine. I like I said, I know it's really weird because the game is very visually busy. Like where was the picture? You go through things like this where everything's all distorted looking, or oh wow, that's even worse somehow. It's just why the X-Men? Anyway, oh, Rogue. Yeah. But it's so visually busy that you can't, sometimes I have a hard time telling what's actually going on, or like I can't even see the enemies until they start shooting me. And that's a problem. And the menus are so fucking terrible. Like, okay, well, see, the funny thing is this is the design of your ship. I never went into that menu. I didn't care. I literally didn't give a shit. But it looks like this. The main menu kind of looks like this. And I'm trying to see if there's other. Yeah, maybe not. Probably in here, but it looks like this. But it'll all say like classified, right? It'll say classified, 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 classified. And this is all gray, by the way, right? So all these will be gray and say classified. And then I actually unlocked one. I unlocked a different game mode, and I didn't realize that I did it at first because it still says in the same thing, what a rogue flight or something. But it was about the same size as classified, and so I didn't even notice. And then I'm like, oh, and excuse me. And you see how this is green? I don't think this is the one that's selected. I think the little icon to the right of it, this little square, if you're on a phone, you probably can't even see what I'm pointing at with my pointer. This tiny little thing, I think, is the actual selector for which thing you have selected, because I couldn't tell which thing I had selected unless you're like watching it. It's just so bad. And it's just the design. I just feel like it's fucking garbage, honestly. There's a first person mode. I guess you could do that. It might actually be better because the problem is with your ship. It's right in the freaking middle, like right here. And so if there's enemies that are behind you that you can't see that are shooting at you, you won't see them because your ship is in the fucking way. And so you'll be like taking fire, and I'm like, where am I taking shots from? Oh, My ship was obscuring my view. Okay. Um, like I said, graphical style should be fine, but it either that, like the menus and some of the gameplay and stuff, it just is bad. It obscures, it messes with the gameplay itself. The lasers, I think, are a lot of time are vector or something, right? So when they shoot at you from certain angles, you can't. They're smaller or something. You can't see them, and so you fight the boss, and all of a sudden you just die. And I'm like, what killed me, right? And that's not a good feeling. Um, so graphics, gameplay, sound. It sounded too loud, honestly. I know that sounds weird, but it's like it would scare my cats. I do like the thing where you flip the ship around and use your jet engines to toast the enemies, which by the way, that's also hilarious, right? Because it's supposed to be that you can like flip your ship 180 degrees and use the contrails to kill enemies. And so the tutorial gives you like 4 enemies in a row lined up perfectly. It's like flip your ship to do it, and you do it, and I missed. And then I tried it again, and I hit 2 of them, and I'm like, you're giving me the optimal situation, and I can't hit them. There's something fucking wrong here in the tutorial, right? Like, okay. But yeah, that would like the sound. I'm not a sound engineer, but it sounds like it's not normalized to me. And normalized means that the highs and the lows are kind of all within the same, like the same volume, right? But instead you do that and it like the sound is fucking loud, and my cats are like, they jump, they were both asleep, they next to me on the couch or like this, and they both fucking like jumped up alerted, and they're like, what the hell was that? You know, and I had to like turn down the speakers, sound bar, whatever, because it was so fucking loud. I was like, holy shit. Also, the music, it's not quite normalization, whatever you want to call it, but people say the music was good. What I heard, some of it's pretty catchy, but it's generic. It's generic guitar music. Like it doesn't. It's just fucking generic. It really sounds like the royalty free stuff. You know, it's. I hope it's not. It might. It might be. I have no idea. But that's what it sounds like. And the problem is, I couldn't hear it the majority of the time because I'm holding down the fire button the entire game, and all I heard was or of my lasers, right? And that drowned out the music. It was louder than the music. And so I didn't hear the music the majority of the time. Or at least not clearly, right? We already did story, sound, graphics, design. I mean, the biggest problem is not that the game the biggest problem is that the game was just fucking boring. Like it's so fucking boring. And that's I was mad actually because I was like, if this is an homage to the original Star Fox, what the fuck? And then I thought about it and I'm like, Star Fox was way better. Even when it was all pixelated and like had 3 polygons, right? Because you had to dodge buildings. There was like rings that you'd have to like fly through to unlock different, like a bomb or whatever if you did enough of them. You'd have to dodge stuff like the carrier you fought, you hit the weak areas and then you'd blow off a piece of it, and the piece that would come off you'd have to like dodge. It would be an obstacle, right? And then it was faster and it would move around and you'd have to shoot other things. It's like once I realized what you had to shoot, there's like these tiny little turrets. Let me see if I can find them. You know, with the first boss, the Stratus, it's like you shoot the, where is it? Here. Okay, so this boss, you have to take it down by, well, you have to hit all of its weak points, which are the engines, but also these tiny little turrets. They shoot at you. They also need to be destroyed. And on other bosses, that is literally the only thing you need to destroy. So you see those and you shoot them, and that is it. And then you win. And when you realize what you need to do, and by the way, so you deflect bullets when you do a little spin. So your shoulder buttons cause you to rotate and deflect shots. And since I would lose instantly when I would get to the boss. And I was like, what the fuck is shooting me? I don't see where I'm getting shot from. Because also, like, you'd be over here, you know, you'd be on the right side of this thing. And so this thing on the left, you couldn't see because of the engines. It would be shooting you. And I'd be like, what the fuck? And so what I literally started doing is I just started, like, I would hold down the fire button the whole fucking game, and I would just spam the rotate button to deflect all the shots constantly. Because, like I said, you'd never know. Enemies would pop up. Sometimes they'd pop up and you couldn't see them because your ship would be blocking your view. Other times there's a whole level where your visibility is obscured and you'll see the enemy shots before you see the enemy. And so I'm like, I'm just going to spam the fucking roll button. And that's how I beat the game. And I was like, I am so fucking tired at the end of this. I'm tired mentally and physically. And I'm bored. Right? Because it's literally going down an empty corridor with the occasional dodge an obstacle. And I wasn't even sure. I actually tried to hit some of them occasionally, and it's like it didn't hit them. And I'm like, was I just in the wrong spot? So, I mean, yeah, my recommendation, do not fucking buy this game. It is bad. It is so fucking bad. But if it all looks interesting, then there is a demo. And you know, that's the thing, like, it's not even good. I mean, the anime style stuff is not even good. It looks good. It looks good, that is all. You know, and you can look at these screenshots and be like, wow, that actually looks really fun. It's not. That's the problem. It's like a bland cake. Or it's like food that... You ever eaten food and there's no seasoning? It's like unseasoned chicken. You're like, man, that chicken looks good. And then you eat it, you're like, it doesn't taste like anything. That's this game. It's like there's nothing. You play it and literally, by the way, all the levels are the fucking same. If you were to strip away the anime aesthetic, if you were to get rid of the skybox, because you're fighting the same enemies the whole fucking game too. If you literally like when they test games, they don't do it with all the graphics. I wonder if you could even tell what level you're in. Right? If you were testing the game and you removed the skybox, could you actually tell what level you were in? And I don't think so. I don't think you could, because there's literally nothing that separates these levels. Now, apparently there is, right? Apparently it's like, because someone made the same comment on Steam, and the developers, they respond. Apparently they were responding to like everybody's reviews, everybody's comments, all that stuff, and that's cool. You know, that's awesome. And they were like, what the fuck? They're like, oh, well, there's different enemies depending on the level, and sometimes there's special requirements and blah, blah, blah. I mean, what are they? You know, because I couldn't tell you. Everything looks the same to me, and if one time one enemy appears, like that's not enough. You know, so avoid the game, I would say. If the developers see this, like, okay, so hang on, sorry. If I'd been told that that this is a game like I wouldn't expect people to the developers. I wouldn't expect them to say it's bland and shallow. I would not expect that. I understand you got to church it up, right? You got to make it appealing. But if you were to tell me it's because what I was told was anime based style, inspired, whatever, great story, blah blah blah. You know, if I was, ooh, excuse me, my goodness, whoa, that stuff is overcarbonated. If I was told it's just an arcade game, it's a score attack game, right? If I was told like the story is just there for seasoning or garnish or whatever, the story is there for style. You know, and that's the other thing. They can't even say like, "Oh, we didn't focus on the story because we focused on the gameplay." It's like there's no fucking gameplay. Like that's what made me so upset because I was like playing this and I'm like, "Holy shit, the original Star Fox was way fucking better." Like I had to think about it. I was like, if this was inspired by the original Star Fox, which it wasn't, you know, and like I said with you guys, I'm like, you had to dodge obstacles. There's, you know, you had to go through rings. You had to strategically bomb fucking certain asteroids to find secret levels and shit. Here, there's none of that. There's literally nothing in the levels. There's the like I said, there's the occasional obstacle which maybe you could hit, but it's just I felt deceived, and that's part of it, right? Because it's like it looks cool, but there's nothing to it. You know what I mean? If you like, even the cutscenes are fucking boring, and oh my god. So yeah, I was playing the game, and if you've ever been so bored that you have to like fidget to keep yourself engaged or to keep yourself from like falling asleep or whatever, like you get so bored you're like antsy. That was me playing the game. Like, because normally at least like controlling, doing the stuff on the controller is enough, but I was like, oh my god, I gotta like move, I gotta get up and do something to stay awake. The cutscenes were more interesting, and the cutscenes were often them being like, why are we attacking a drone factory? And they're like, well, it uses drones. It's a distributed network, and the drones are manufactured from this moon. And the mines on this moon are where it gets its main materials from. It used to be based in a active volcano for power, but now it's switched to a inactive volcano for power, where it can also mine its rare minerals that it uses for the electronics, which it makes its drones from. They literally, it's almost like, and they say the voice acting is good, and it sounds like they're just talking. Congratulations, they fucking talk. Woo. It's just like they're reading a technical manual to you, and I was more engaged by that than I was more bored playing the actual gameplay than I was listening to the voice actors read a technical manual about the manufacture of the drones. And I'm not fucking kidding. That's how bad this game is. And I'm sorry to the developers. I'm sorry because the game looks cool, but that's all. Like, holy shit, seriously, that is all. And I'm sorry, I don't know how long it took to make. Congratulations. But if you, like I said, if you had told me, like, it's a score attack game with an anime style, like, hey, remember that old arcade game where flying around was a novelty? Yeah, we basically made that with modern graphics and then slapped an anime filter on it. If you said that, I wouldn't have bought it. I would have also not been upset. You know what I mean? Now that I know what it is, I mean, I don't think I'm going to give it another shot, like I said, because I was so fucking bored. But at least now I'm calmer about it. Because before, when I was like, they say the story's good, what's going on? And then I looked it up, I'm like, oh my god, the story's not good. Yeah, so, wow, how the fuck have I been talking for so long? Anyway, I guess that's it. I could have cut this down to probably 10 minutes, but who cares? Anyway, it's funny because there's gonna be people like this end is probably the best part because I'm the most animated. I'm the most like, what the fuck? But it's fine. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of my videos. Questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, let me hear you. That's it. That is all. Hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.